we're doing the midweek wrestling war. Midweek wrestling review. I keep saying war. It's not a war. We got NXT, who we had a heel turn on a teammate that are champions, and then meanwhile on AEW we had Fyter Fest Week 1. Week 1, Part 1, because they still had Rampage, which was like still part of Fyter Fest. That was like still part of Week 1, but still like Part 2. But we sit here reviewing Rampage right now. So let's go get right on into it with NXT 2.0. I'm going to just basically run through this real quick because the big story was around Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade, because Roxanne Perez got attacked in the parking lot, and everybody's trying to look like who did it, and then throughout the
honestly, night, I can't. Probably they already know, but I really want them to do that Triple H video.
What's Triple H video?
Do you remember the video where he attacked Shawn Michaels and it was like a blurry camera that they zoomed in and then they zoomed in and it got clear?
I remember that
was
one.
Blurred. It was blurred from like 10 feet and they zoomed in and now all of a sudden it's clear. All right.
Yeah, I do remember that. Well, I mean, with technology today, it wouldn't be blurred, period. So, but they already was getting that who attacked her. It was kind of blatant and obvious. And I was just like, well, what a way to give that all. They had Apollo Crews go up against Gio.
But we'll get to it. But yeah, we'll get to that.
All right, they had Apollo Crews go up against Gianni Vinci, who is the former member of Imperium.
Yep, Fabian Aichner.
Huh?
Fabian Aichner.
Yeah, Fabian Aichner, yeah. It was a still good matchup, but Zion Quinn came out to hits Apollo Crews and takes him out, giving Vinci the win. So I understand, Apollo going out putting guys over, but this gives him a feud with Zion Quinn. I'm kind of just hoping, like, Apollo take him out, and then Apollo is the one that gets that title off Braun Breaker. That's just for asking. I didn't watch too much of the JD McDowell, aka the God, what's his name? Damn.
Jordan Devlin.
Yeah, Jordan Devlin. They came out why he attacked a Braun Breaker yesterday, and they had a tag team match with Kaden Carter and Katana Chance against Tatum Paxley. No, Tatum Paxley versus Kaden Carter. Sorry for saying Tatum Paxley won that matchup. Sanga versus Duke Hudson. Sanga wins. I didn't see same thing with was it Von Wagner taking on Solo Sikoa. Still not a fan of Von Wagner at all. But I was just like, they're going to force him on. Indy Hartwell taking on Last Legend. Indy Hartwell won that matchup. Von Wagner, Solo Sikoa fought backstage. There's another tag team match.
I believe they said Solo Sikoa is supposed to join the Bloodline after SummerSlam.
Oh, it's a possibility.
Yeah, I know he's gonna get called up soon.
The real big thing is they had Mandy Rose taking on Roxanne Perez and for the NXT Women's Championship. So I was just like, okay, this is a little weird, obviously, because they just want to take the championships and what was going to happen with that. But
she still had she had her when you want to break out tournament, you know.
Oh, that's right. She did want to break out tournament. So yeah, well, she tried to do that, and then all of a sudden, she gets smacked in the back with the belt by Cora Jade. Mandy Rose, does her running knee and then wins the pinfall. So top of the attraction are
real quick before you get into this further. Mandy Rose is the longest reigning champion, I believe.
A women's champion?
Yes.
Over Asuka?
I believe so.
I know Asuka had a long winning streak, but because she never lost the women's championship, she kind of gave it up. But I know Asuka had a long one. I know Shayna Baszler had a long one also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Shayna had two though. and it kind of it's like back to back, so they're kind of longer. But she's at like 270, I believe.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you get a chance, look up Oscars also, because I thought Oscar had a long reign also, but like I said, I could be wrong, because I could be adding that with the streak that she had. To be real, but yeah. After the match, Cora gets in the ring, and she shoves Perez, and then here was what messed up. She goes and picks up her skateboard to obviously break it over Roxanne Perez's back. As she picks up the skateboard, and she's yelling, "I bought you here. I made you." The skateboard breaks in half. Like, while she's holding it. Like, it was too gimmicked. And then, so she starts, it's like, "Oh, you botched that bad." And then, then she has to just take half the skateboard and beat her down with the skateboard. And I was just like, so, I understand why the heel turn happened. I don't know if they think about trying to call Cora Jade kind of fast. I'm not necessarily sure. However, I'm thinking, if that was all the case, what was the point of taking the tag team championships off of Toxic Attraction?
Yeah, that was stupid.
Y'all could have did this whole, even if she had lost, like if y'all had made, I guess y'all was trying to feel as though like we could create some drama. But here's my thing: if y'all had lost and say Cora Jade takes the pin, or say Roxanne Perez takes the pin from Toxic Attraction, and then yet she's like, "All right, well, we lost. It's all good because I still got a contract to go for the NXT Women's Championship." That would even give Cora Jade even more reason, and you can actually agree with her to attack her. For the point is, wait a minute. You came in here, you kind of took my spot. I was the girl next door. You kind of just took that over, and then you kind of get me into a tag team, and then you really don't care about winning the belts. You lost the matchup. I care, and then now you just gonna go off and get another title shot, and so no, I don't think that's fair. But taking the belts off Toxic Attraction, putting it on them, and then having the team split while they're still the champion is ludicrous, because you're doing nothing to your women's. Like,
it's like I don't get when they do stuff like this. It's like, oh, I gotta lose that weight, but yet when we team together, we are 100% winning percentage. How is that dead weight when y'all are like, y'all never lost a match together?
Yeah. Like me personally,
it's like Judgment Day. Judgment Day talk about we dropping the dead weight, even though with Edge they were literally the one every single match.
Exactly. Now the whole group is just dead weight. Because the whole group is a afterthought.
Just wait till next week. Just wait till next week. Apparently, well, whatever. But
yeah. Yeah. So then, and I was like, so that was NXT. I just thought it was really stupid. I was like, so now we're gonna vacate the belts, and y'all have no teams on NXT neither, like that. So I'm just like, okay, we'll just.
I don't know if they're gonna vacate the belts, so they just gonna have her lose.
Or just give it like. Just y'all should have just never took on the Toxic Attraction in the first place. Let them do that, and then so when they do lose, it'll be a bigger deal. Like if they
already lost them before, this is their second time losing.
Yeah, I'm saying, but they got to back up. But this one, this help nothing. This unless they get called up, which I doubt. It was just a stupid reason to do this. So, everybody. Triple H is back. I doubt he had anything to do with this. I seriously doubt that. Let's go over to.
They might just do what Rollins did. They might just have her fight two people by herself. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to AEW Dynamite. It's Fyter Fest Night 1, and you know what that means. We have a triple threat tag team match for the main event, and boy, did it deliver. Along with other things, we hear from Christian Cage tonight. We hear from Chris Jericho tonight, and all the other stuff like that. So, we kick off Fyter Fest Night 1 with a TNT Championship match with Wardlow taking on Orange Cassidy. Two baby faces, and you let the crowd choose between which one and stuff like that, and then Wardlow just rips off the pockets of Orange Cassidy, so he can't do the stick his hands in the pockets gimmick type like that. But it was actually a pretty decent matchup. But I was like, I don't know why they would pick that matchup. I understand you think it would create some buzz, maybe, but for Wardlow's first title defense. But I was like, but I don't want Orange Cassidy losing neither, especially when he's one of your top baby faces in the company, and he just lost to Will Ospreay. Because Wardlow was not going to lose this matchup. I'm not saying feed him Miro or anything like that, but I'm just like, I'm thinking Lee Moriarty or somebody of that level, or even Dustin Rhodes, somebody like that. But like I said, it still was fine. After the matchup, Wardlow picks up Orange Cassidy, gives him a fist bump, and there you have it. So it was alright. I mean, there's been better openers on Dynamite or on Friday Face or whatever you want to call it, but I can understand probably the appeal of trying to want to see it.
Yeah, it was whatever, but it was okay.
They showed a recap of Pac defending the All-In Championship at Rev Pro, and because they showed the whole match on Dark, I believe it was.
Yeah, they showed that and Thunder Rosa and she had a Stardom match. They showed that too.
Exactly, yeah, that's the one that she lost.
No, not Stardom. Sorry, TJPW.
Yeah,
but yeah, she had a match too.
Then they had a AEW Interim World Championship Eliminator match, which is AEW's version.
I don't know. They didn't call it. Sorry, what you gonna say?
No, I'm saying this is AEW's version of the Championship Contenders match that WWE does.
Yeah. Because Tony kind of explained it, but I don't think it was explained well over the show.
And how did he explain it?
He basically said since Takeshita is not in the top 5 or anything, and he just really wanted to fight Moxley, so if he wins, then he could have an opportunity to obviously beat the champion.
Well, you know what? You are right, but it was the other way around because Moxley wanted to face him.
Yes.
Yeah, the champion called him
because Moxley was like, "Oh, this guy's good. I want to face him."
Yeah, because if y'all haven't seen it, he did have a good match with Eddie Kingston last week on Rampage.
Takeshita's good.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying, but for the people who don't know, he like I said, he is really good. I'm still not used to the two forms of the Death Rider, the Paradigm Shift, but he does hit the Paradigm Shift that starts giving him the elbow.
Yeah, he hasn't really done the Death Rider that much. That's like more of a New Japan thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Death Rider. New Japan, they just say, "Yeah, drop me directly on my head." While in America, they like, "Yeah, nah, just do the regular way."
Yeah. So he he did that. They gives him the elbows and chest. He tries to go for the Death Rider, but he kind of gets out of it, and then he gets out of it. Then Hurricane Rod sends Mox outside the ring. Goes for suicide dive, and then Takeshita hits a frog splash, gets a 2 count, and then they go back. Takeshita escapes and hits a blue thunder bomb, and then they go another 2 count. But then out of nowhere, Moxley hits another Paradigm Shift out of nowhere, and then gives him the elbow strikes, and then I forgot to mention the German suplex on the apron. That was a good move also. Takeshita did, and then Moxley hits the Death Rider, then the hammer and the elbows, and then the Bulldog choke, and then Takeshita taps out. So it was actually a pretty decent matchup.
I wouldn't have had him tap out though.
No, pass out something like that, but actually it was still a good matchup. Christian Cage makes his entrance, with the evil Luchasaurus, or looks like old school Kane sometimes, and Christian says that there's something he finds extremely annoying about the Varsity Blondes, the mullet. And just like Jungle Boy Pillman had a father, your father was a legend, but Christian thinks he was average at best. Pillman will be appalled by his his final contribution to the business was Brian Pillman Jr. First off,
Honestly, I think Christian should just have a run where he's like berating everybody with a dad.
yeah.
Like bring in DH Smith.
Oh
Talks
god.
about Davey
Oh
Boy
well,
Smith.
yeah. But also, I don't want I don't want Christian to fall into the Matt Caster thing. And what I mean by that is, like, to the point where it's like, okay, each week in your promo, you're saying something that's kind of controversial. Somebody's dead, or like trying to get shock value. That's the same thing in the beginning Matt Caster did. Just when it comes to his rap, like, what the hell is he gonna say, type thing. And I mean, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But I was like, but Christian's a good heel without being so controversial.
Yeah.
In other words, he don't have to get extreme heat from that way. But like I said, I thought it was a decent line on Brian Pillman, even though it made Brian Pillman Jr. look like a fucking ass because he never attacked him and anything. He was just sitting there waiting for why Luchasaurus woman gets Gift Garrison. I'm just like, really? Okay. Well, he hits the choke slam and hits on the tar pit, and Garrison taps out. Then after the matchup, Luchasaurus headbutts Pillman until he falls on his table. Luchasaurus chokes them Garrison on Pillman on time he was tail, but it doesn't break at first. So then he does another choke slam and then he puts both of them through the table. So I was just like, oh god, this a little botch on the gimmick table, but they did what they had to do. And Toy Schiavone lets everybody know that the Jericho Appreciation Society will be in the Shark Cage above the ring for the barbed wire match next week with Eddie Kingston. But it was funny that Matt Menard was in there back there complaining, talking about somebody got to be up in the shark cages. I'm kind of over cages right now. And then Parker threatens him, but he's like, "Hey, relax. It's just a comb."
That Shark Cage is so unnecessary, but they, why they doing it?
Warner Media wants stuff for Shark Week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, see, when the higher ups want something, see, we went to suits like, we got to promote Shark Week. Do we really?
Like, why not just call it like a Shark Cage match or something? Do something different. I don't know.
Because this is Ed Keisha Jericho. He's with that barbed wire massacre crap. So,
like, why not? I would just do like the Lions Den and just call it the Shark Cage match or something.
Okay. We're gonna join some commentary. We got Claudio Castagnoli taking on Jake Hager, aka the Real Americans. We, the people. We had a chant of that. Swagger versus Cesaro, and I'm not big on Jack Swagger or Jake Hager in his matches, but this was a big house fight, and I enjoyed it. It was a good matchup from two guys who clearly know each other, and then Claudio hits a pop-up uppercut and then the straight jacket powerbomb, which I think is very impressive when he does it, and then wins the matchup. Good matchup. Recommend if anybody go back and see it. I think it's one of the better Jake Hager matches that he's had. Because when it comes to like wrestling, I'm not a big Hager fan at all.
When you tell me you wasn't a fan of the All-American?
Oh, I wasn't a fan of nothing. I wasn't a fan of anything. First of all, I wasn't a fan of I'm happy to be his list, Jack Swagger. You know what I'm saying? When he had the list, and then he got all serious and heel, and then was that racist American? I was like, I wasn't feeling that, and then they had to We the People. I was like, okay, I felt the tag team for a little bit. Then he was out of there. I was like, all right, cool. And then when he came to AEW, I was just like, all right. Hager just sits in the background of the Inner Circle or the Jericho Appreciation Society. That's all he does. So they recap Thunder Rosa's match in Japan when she loses the title eliminator matchup. But now she said, that's Japan. Right now, I focus on Thunderstorm. I'm just like, way to book your champion. So they had Anna Jay versus Serena D. Serena D wins, okay? She put a Serenity lock on her. Anna Jay jumps out. And they set it for what we did predictions on earlier for Serena D and Mercedes Martinez's matchup. Toy Schiavone backstage with Jay Cargill and the baddies. And Jay says that she isn't worried. They still kind of arguing with Stokely because they are not feeling the Layla Gray Anna yet. But Stokely says he knows people are mad at him, but they will be watching Chris and Athena on Rampage, which he did have a match on Rampage.
Spoiler alert, nobody watched it.
Look, you want them to have a match, they gotta have a match, and they had a match. You can't criticize the match. They nobody watched it. You know what I'm saying? Look, we gotta take it when we can get it. We went on there.
Why is it the teaming with Chris Stanley now? That should make no sense.
I'm telling you, I think they're trying to, because they're trying to keep Stanley. I don't know.
Just have Athena fight the baddies. You don't need Stanley.
Well, I'm pretty sure that they was trying to probably do that because she first fought Karen Hogan, but then all of a sudden Red Velvet got injured. I thought she's probably going to try to do Red Velvet next, and then it could probably be a thing where she probably get taken out, or they try to take out Chris Stanley or whatever the case is. Like, I really don't know why the whole Chris Stanley thing is teaming that, because like I said, right now, but they are focused more on this than they have more of a storyline than Thunderstorm does, in their matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I don't know if I said or not, but that's right. That's what I missed. Okay, because I kind of skipped past the Thunderstorm thing, because it was a promo with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter was talking to Tony Schiavone. He was backstage, and then Jamie Hayter gave Tony Schiavone a sandbag and said, you try to carry her or it. And I was just like, well, if y'all know what you're talking about was Thunder Rosa was like sandbagging her opponents or something like that. Something that happened on a house show. I don't know when it happened, but that's what they're talking about. Main event time is Triple or Nothing, they call it. The Young Bucks taking on Swerve and Our Glory, taking on Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. This match is exactly what you expected it to be, especially in the beginning. Everybody's testing out their stuff. Swerve and Nick Jackson are going at it. Keith Lee gets off, try to get his kick off, and then Matt Jackson ducks it, and then everybody's just getting this shit off and looking cool. You see that Hobbs and Keith Lee can't move each other, blah 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 blah. But they take a commercial break, and then they go picture in picture. So then when they come back, that final 10 minutes in the matchup is when everything really goes. Keith Lee tries to go for his, plancha over the top rope, but then he gets grabbed by Will Hobbs and Ricky Starks. And then Matt Jackson does like a double dropkick through the ropes, and then Nick Jackson dives over him. Keith Lee catches him, but then power bombs him right into Matt Jackson. And then, when he goes back inside, he tries to go for the Spirit Bomb. I don't know if he calls it the Spirit Bomb in AEW or not. But then Nick gets away, and then he tags in Will Hobbs. Will Hobbs and him go back and forth, shoulder to shoulder until they double splash each other and take each other down. Keith Lee tries to put Will Hobbs on top rope and tries to get him a superplex. Will Hobbs knocks Keith Lee off. Now, Keith Lee falls back, and he's about 3/4 of a way. I'm just sitting there so I'm thinking Nick Jackson's going to come out and do a swanton or a frog splash, whatever the case may be. No, Will Hobbs gets his big ass on the top rope and does a D'Lo Brown style frog splash 3/4 away to Keith Lee in the ring. For somebody that big, that is impressive.
Oh.
I did not know Will Hobbs had it in him. I'm being completely honest with you. I did not know. The real deal now. What you say?
You're messing with the real deal now.
It is. I was like, because first of all, you could do a little Eddie's frog splash. You could even do a splash. Him doing that kind of frog, the D'Lo Brown style frog splash, was just crazy. So Nick comes back in, and then now Hobbs and Starks is trying to work on Nick Jackson. They put him in. He has Nick Jackson on his shoulders. Ricky Starks does the climb the rope, starts dancing on the top rope a little bit, and then does the cutter to Nick Jackson and gets a very close 3 count before Nick kicks out. And I was just like, damn, because I got Hobbs. I was like, I was really wanting that to win. Then we get Matt and Swerve. They come into the ring. Swerve just they get the net breaker. Swerve is really fucking good. But then we start doing super kick parties. They take out Swerve. Then Matt and Nick both try to take out Keith Lee. He goes in one knee. He does the whole indie power up thing. But then Ricky starts coming there, and then they all take down Keith Lee with three of them doing the super kick. Then they all taunt in the ring. Ricky starts does like his Billie Jean taunt, and then then all of a sudden the Young Bucks super kick him and take him out. And I was just like, why does he always do this? Hobbs comes in and he runs into the referee. This referee, I swear to God, this the Young Bucks referee. Hobbs runs into him into the corner, and then it's like he's still like on his feet, groggy. I'm just like, just fall down. And they had to kick Hobbs back into him, so he falls back down to the floor. I was just like, so unnecessary, to say the least. Brandon Cutler throws the belts into the Young Bucks so they can attack them with it, but then Swerve breaks it up. Ricky Starks breaks it up, and then Swerve breaks it up. But he's like he's going to hit Keith Lee with the belt, and everybody's just like, "Oh my God, why would you break up in the middle of the match?" But he was teasing like he was going to hit Keith Lee with the belt. But then Matt comes in and just starts taking out everybody else out with the other tag team belt. And he hits Swerve with the belt, and then they go for the cover, hit the the BTE, and then it was a close one, but it gets broken up by Ricky Starks. So meanwhile, they are about to go for the Meltzer driver on Swerve, and as Nick is coming in with the 450, Keith Lee catches him in like in the powerbomb stance, and then they give Nick Jackson that like Trouble Paradise forearm combo. Then they give Matt Jackson that double foot stomp powerbomb, and I thought that was over right there. But then Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs break it up. This is one of my favorite parts of the match because then Hobbs hits a spine buster on Keith Lee, but then Swerve comes in and he hits a spine buster on Swerve on top of Keith Lee. Then comes Nick Jackson and he's a spine buster on top of Nick Jackson on all of them, and then it hits a spine buster on Matt Jackson on all of them. It was just a good visual seeing him hit 4 back-to-back spine busters like that. I thought that was cool. I thought that was dope. And like I said, the fans was cheering. They was getting all into that and stuff. And I was just like, yo, let them fucking win this matchup. Ring clears. It's just Swerve and Ricky Starks in there. Ricky Starks hits Swerve with a crazy ass spear, turns him the fuck out. I was like, damn, that's a strong ass spear. It was Goldberg like Ricky Starks, but then he goes for the pin, but then the Young Bucks break that shit up. Everybody gets tossed to the outside. Keith Lee gives an overhead buddy to Will Hobbs to the outside, falls right on his ass, and then Keith Lee wanted to do it. Swerve does a top rope moonsault off Keith Lee's chest to the outside. And then Keith Lee winds up and goes out there and does his over the top rope plancha. It takes him out. And then meanwhile, Ricky Starks still in the ring. Swerve does the double foot drop to Ricky Starks. And your new your new AEW World Tag Team Champions is Swerve in Our Glory. Damn, that was a match. I don't usually take notes during Young Bucks matches and stuff like that because they're just all over the place. But that, like, it's just like they was in cruise control. It was a fine cruise control for the first half of the match. Then when the commercial hit and they came back, they was just like, all right, y'all, turn it up. So if y'all go on AEW's website on YouTube, they have the last 10 minutes after the commercial comes back of the match. And honestly, that's the only part you need to see. That shit was crazy. It was a damn good matchup. So they win after they didn't have no time to celebrate because it was like right at 10 o'clock and it's time for them to go off. So after they had the show on YouTube that Keith Lee had a friend that was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and they dedicated his win that match to him. So that's what he was gonna say at the end. But that was the main event. I was just like, damn. That was awesome. So when it comes to who did the better show this week, it's definitely Fyter Fest, definitely AEW, especially with that main event. That Cora Jade and Turn and the Toxic Attraction losing their belts thing kind of pissed me off. But they definitely had the better show in the main event. I recommend You guys go check it out because night 2 of Fyter Fest is going. By the time y'all hear this, obviously going to be the next night because it's going to be Wednesday because this thing's coming out a little bit later. But that's what it was. So Prime, I have to say, I know you didn't see much of it, but go back and watch that last 10 minutes of the matchup. It's worth it.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like Ricky Starks and Hobbs should have won, or just keep it on the Bucks. But
yeah, well, I think they have plans for the Bucks. To be honest with you, I don't know what the plans are. I know that they were saying, well, we was teasing the whole thing with Swerve and Lee because we didn't we want to throw everybody off when they won. But I really believe like right now would have been the best time for Hobbs and Starks to win that.
Yeah, unless they get into a feud with Swerve and Lee.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I'm saying because right now it's like I understand you guys start building some other tag teams. And Keith Lee and Swerve are a good team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not a good team at all. But I'm saying but they are a really good team.
I think they needed to get built back up personally.
Say what?
I think they needed to build back up personally. You don't just have this man turn on him in the Rumble and then be like, oh, they broken up, and then be like, oh, my bad. And then that's it. I mean, now we champs.
Well, first of all, like I said, I'm not mad at the turn because that's what happens in Battle Royals. I'm not mad at the turn. But
they were treating the turn as if it was an actual turn.
Yeah.
Like, Swerve was like, yeah, I done dropped all this dead weight, and they were doing all the promos back and forth, and then the next week it was like, oh, all right, we're good, with no explanation. So, I don't know.
Well, okay, it's good. I would like to see them have a run with it. Like I said, I would also like to see because I know Keith Lee is not going to be in a tag team forever, and neither is Swerve. Those two guys are going to go off to bigger and better things. Swerve definitely, I see TNT Championship, even AEW Championship in his future. I definitely see AEW Championship in Keith Lee's future. Will Hobbs was like, to help, of course, Ricky starts running around with the FTR Championship, or no, FTW Championship. But I'm like, but Will Hobbs with a tag team belt around him, I think that would have been just awesome.
Yeah, I think they feel with Keith Lee and Swerve.
I hope so. I hope they take the belts off of me. Honest with you.
I mean, I'm kind of. I'm being honest with you. I don't know what to say right now because there's no reason why we shouldn't have gotten Young Bucks versus FTR for the belts. But sure, go with Keith Lee and Swerve. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the way because I think, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they're going to feud with them because I know eventually FTR is going to have to probably take them belts. And then, so they can have all.
Yeah, so why were you taking from the Bucks? Because literally, that was the story of the Bucks were so scared they challenged everybody except for FTR. They literally made a match. They literally was like, all right, we're going to pick the teams that we want to face, and they didn't pick FTR. So I thought that was going to be like a storyline.
I agree. And then had them win all championships and then build another tag team, like build up the Acclaim because the Acclaim is getting over. And, blow the dust off Private Party.
There's no reason why FTR should not have the tag team titles. I'm sorry. I love Keith Lee and Swerve, but there's no reason you're going to build these guys up to get some of the biggest reactions and then just be like, yeah, nah, y'all not getting the belts. No,
I do agree with you. I really do agree with you. Make sure you guys stay tuned for next week of Fyter Fest Part 2. I'm pretty sure we should have that up before the podcast. Like we do, but I'm saying, but if you listen to the podcast, just continue listening. But if you're watching this part on YouTube, you guys always gonna make sure you like, subscribe, and share when it comes to the Midweek Wrestling Review.